All right, so in the incredibly violent, chaotic ecosystem of mixed martial arts, a champion's legacy is usually this, slow, careful construction of numbers. You stack up title defenses, you clear out entire generations of contenders, and you basically establish a territorial monopoly over a single weight class. But look, there's a massive difference between just protecting a resume and cementing absolute, undeniable immortality.
For well over 2 years now, the UFC heavyweight division has been, frankly, completely paralyzed by this historical deadlock. It's been a Cold War centered around the consensus greatest fighter to ever put on a pair of 4-ounce gloves, Jon Jones.
And on the other side, the most terrifying, hyper-evolved heavyweight prospect this sport has seen in literally a decade, Tom Aspinall. Now, you might remember critics everywhere claiming this fight would just never happen. The media was openly accusing the undisputed king of protecting his record, pointing straight at Aspinall's interim belt and demanding some kind of resolution. Well, just hours ago, UFC CEO Dana White literally broke the internet. He confirmed the rumors are dead. The ink, it's officially dry. The unification war is locked in. And get this, Jones has actually confirmed that this is going to be the absolute final walk of his historic career. The cage doors are closing, the pleasantries are totally over, and the entire sport is bracing for a collision that is going to permanently redraw the architectural blueprint of MMA history. Okay, let's dive into this explainer and look at the inside story of the tactical trap waiting for the GOAT.
Section 1. The immovable object, Jon Jones' legacy.
To really wrap your head around the sheer psychological scale of what Jon Jones is actually risking by stepping onto the canvas tonight, we have to look directly at this absolutely unprecedented data footprint he's left over the last 15 years. Jones has operated as this immovable structural anomaly in the sport. Across 16 distinct world title victories spanning 2 totally different divisions, he has faced exactly 0 legitimate defeats. His overall record stands at an absurd 28-1, and let's be real, that single blemish was a highly contested, weird disqualification from over a decade ago. Now, his genius doesn't really lie in one single explosive athletic trait. Nope. It lies in his complete and utter mastery of defensive distance geometry. Just look at this monolithic number, 84.5. Utilizing that historic 84.5-inch reach advantage, Jones systematically neutralizes his opponent's primary weapons before they can even cross the perimeter of the pocket. And this distance management, it builds into this brilliant, agonizing slow burn strategy. He chokes out spaces using those nasty linear oblique kicks to the knee. He completely controls the hand-fighting matrix with this elite Greco-Roman wrestling framework. And he physically breaks down the cardiorespiratory reserves of giant heavyweights through grueling, close-quarter cage pressure. He literally turns 5-round championship fights into long, exhausting simulations, where the opposition is just slowly starved of answers. But here's the catch. This methodical, slow-burn strategy is about to look a completely different type of predator dead in the eye. Section 2. The speed anomaly. Tom Aspinall. Because Tom Aspinall, he doesn't play the game of distance management, he deletes it entirely. The statistics behind the interim British champion are completely unprecedented for a human being who weighs 255 pounds. Aspinall currently holds the absolute record for the shortest average fight time in the entire history of the UFC, clocking in at a jaw-dropping 2 minutes and 10 seconds per appearance. Let that sink in. 2 minutes, 10 seconds. He isn't looking for a slow build-up. He operates with this lightning-fast vertical velocity that just shatters elite contenders before they can even figure out a rhythm. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is the sheer contrast. When you put Aspinall's average fight time up against other elite technical heavyweights, like say Cyril Gane, who averages over 14 minutes, it literally looks like a glitch in the system. Aspinall's entire professional MMA career inside the cage has lasted just over 26 minutes total. That is practically unheard of at the absolute pinnacle of the sport. And just look at these offensive metrics. The guy is landing 8.07 significant strikes per minute with an astonishing plus 5.18 striking differential. And it's not just wild brawling, right? He combines the blinding hand speed of a lightweight boxer with a high-impact transition game of a Brazilian jiu-jitsu black belt. Now, he rarely even has to use his grappling because he's finishing fights on the feet so incredibly fast. But when he has taken down grizzled veterans like Andrei Arlovsky and Alexander Volkov, he's secured submissions just moments later. So if Jones attempts to spend the first round just kind of reading casual movement patterns or pacing his gas tank, well, Aspinall possesses the raw physical speed to completely overrun the system before the undisputed champion can even download the data. Section 3. Tactical friction.
The first 60 seconds.
Let's analyze the microscopic technical friction that's going to decide the opening minute of this historic bout. On the left here, we've got Jones's southpaw distance management. Jones loves to operate from a low, wide stance, utilizing that immense reach we talked about to manage range and stall out explosive athletes. And then, on the right, we have Tom Aspinall's orthodox high-speed blitz. Aspinall uses this exceptional lateral footwork and a bouncing movement to create devastating angles in a literal fraction of a second. This right here, this is the ultimate stylistic clash.
So the crucial point is how these physical mechanics will actually collide right out of the gate. I like to think of it in 3 steps. Step 1, the low kick entry. Watch for Jones to try and establish his southpaw perimeter immediately, right? Firing those low kicks to Aspinall's lead leg to kill his mobility. Step 2, the counter blitz line. In his recent destruction of the division's top tier, Aspinall showed this terrifying ability to slip outside of those exact types of incoming attacks. And finally, step 3, the centerline collision. That's the exact moment Aspinall breaches the perimeter and fires his devastating short right hand. It's this incredibly high-stakes game of absolute precision, and honestly, one single miscalculation in that first 60 seconds could turn the lights out for either man.
Section 4, Legacy on the Line. Because at the end of the day, beyond all the metrics, beyond the striking data, and beyond the tactical chalkboard, this is fundamentally about the history books. This is the final chapter of one era and the potential birth of a completely new one. Jones is fighting for something much, much larger than a title defense. As he recently stated, "From the first time I stepped into the octagon, my goal was to push the boundaries of what was possible in this sport." He's putting a nearly flawless 2-decade legacy right on the line to cement his status as the absolute, undisputed greatest of all time. He's risking the whole shebang against the most dangerous version of the future. Now, contrast that perspective with Tom Aspinall. He's made his intentions incredibly clear. It's time to get this heavyweight division going, an active, undisputed champion. Aspinall brings this hungry, forward-looking momentum. He doesn't just want a W on his record. He wants to forcefully take the throne, clear that huge logjam at the top of the weight class, and activate the division for a completely new generation of fans.
So we have the immovable object versus the speed anomaly, the greatest resume in combat sports history versus the most terrifying physical threat of the modern era. The deadlock is finally broken. The unification war is here. So the question I'll leave you with at the end of this explainer is this: when that cage door finally locks and the referee steps back, who rewrites the blueprint of MMA history? Will the GOAT solve the ultimate puzzle one last time, or will the future arrive in under 2 minutes? Thanks so much for joining me on this deep dive, and I absolutely can't wait to see you for the next one.